So you've seen The Last Jedi, and now you're back to watch the spoiler review here. We're going to give away so much about the movie in this, so if you haven't seen the movie, please go see it and then watch this review. If you haven't seen the movie, we have a spoiler-free review as well. So let's get right into the details.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. There's a lot to talk about in this movie. There is a lot. I think that I want to talk about, first off, what you disliked about some of the, crucial things of this movie. We did talk a little bit about what we disliked with Luke and maybe some of the lightsaber battles and stuff like that. You want to start there?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of this movie, there's the big lightsaber battle between Luke and Kylo Ren. And I thought that, just the last two movies kind of been building this up, telling the backstory of Luke and Kylo Ren and, the betrayal. And it's like, all right, they're finally going to clash. I expected Luke to lose because, the movie needs a bad guy moving forward.
Yeah.
But it was just lackluster. Just there was a couple of clashes and Luke didn't really fight back. I mean, you find out why he didn't really fight back. He wasn't really there.
Dodges, yeah.
But at the same time, it was just come on, man, give me some cool, will they ever duplicate the lightsaber battle from Phantom Menace? I just want that. I want something super stylized and choreographed. Get a couple of sweet martial artists to duke it out. Where's that? I missed that. I wish, especially in this modern age filmmaking where we do have those kind of big spectacle fight choreographers and everything like that and come in and do this. Where is that?
Yeah, I wish they would have combined something like that. I agree with you. I wanted this battle. Luke's standing there. He's holding his ground. He comes down, throws his face off. I'm like, yeah, it's time to go. And yeah, it was just kind of meh. And then I also was hoping it would be a combination of Phantom Menace, end lightsaber battle, and end of A New Hope where he strikes him down and he turns into the cloak, but he's still, he's going to carry on type of thing. That's what I wanted out of this, and it was just a little bit of a letdown for me.
Yeah, and the way that Luke dies, now first of all, let me just say I love that they started that whole sequence with him looking at the binary sunset.
Yeah. That
kind of started this whole journey from him all the way back in the original movie.
Yeah.
So I like that they kind of bookended his journey with that.
Yeah.
But it's when he died, it was like when Yoda died, just
gone.
And it's you didn't really feel the emotional weight of it.
Yeah, I agree with that also, and I just, I think that he got the redemption he wanted personally, but I just wanted Luke to go out in just more of a flashier way.
Yeah, and come on, guys, can you write how these characters should mourn the loss?
Right.
I was fuming in Force Awakens when it's why didn't Leia hug Chewie before she hugged Rey?
Right.
But with this one, there's Luke's gone. Yeah, he is.
We did it, but they don't know he's gone.
They don't know. No, Rey said it. Rey said, Luke's gone. I felt it.
Yeah.
And Leia said that she felt it too, and they're just
Anyway,
I'm come on, have a moment together, mourn him, and I just felt once again that was just
a little yeah, totally. I mean, even going with just some of the things where I was whoa, they killed off Snoke. It's that's it with Snoke. I liked Snoke. I liked the way he looked. I really liked these special effects, whatever motion capture, whatever. I thought it was really, really well done.
Yeah.
He had such a cool look to him. I want more Snoke, and then boom, cut in half. You just Darth Mauled him right there, so quickly.
Got cut in half.
I'm God, the coolest character, you cut him in half again. So it did lead to an amazing lightsaber battle and everything, which that whole sequence was cool. I just thought there was going to be more Snoke.
Yeah, and they never explained who Snoke was. So that was kind of a minor complaint for me, where it's people are oh, is he Darth Plagueis, or is he Anakin Skywalker after he got all mangled and stuff, did he somehow get resurrected? And it's just no, if he was some Sith who was just hanging out the whole time.
Maybe there's some sort of extended universe book on him or something like that I've never heard of or read, but yeah. Snoke was, no pun intended, very undercut in this one.
Yeah.
He did go out in a cool way. I mean, he died cool, just too fast.
Right, yeah, oh yeah, the way they executed the scene where Kylo Ren kills Snoke.
Because when he falls in half, I was oh shit, he just got cut in half. So that was cool, but let's talk about some of the positive things we enjoyed about it, or at least, I'll mention one that I really enjoyed. Yoda, man.
Oh, yeah.
How cool was that?
Yeah.
I loved having Yoda back. The original Yoda.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite scene of the movie, just the dialogue between him and Luke, and it's it just overwhelmed me with nostalgia. I'm oh my god, I'm watching Luke and Yoda talk about and the real philosophy of being a Jedi. And that's something that I said in the spoiler-free review. I like how they explored what it means to be a Jedi. And I like that Luke kind of admitted, like, Jedi, sorry, that is already plural. Jedi elevate themselves.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, we're losers. We lost.
Yeah.
Like, we
created evil and lost.
Right. When he's like, when we were at our strongest, Darth Sidious just tore us to pieces.
Yeah.
And it's like, we elevate ourselves to be the good guys, but we always lose.
Yeah. And I felt the relationship was never, like, it was just being back with old friends again, Like, there was a connection between Yoda and Luke. You felt it. They missed each other, and they were happy. It was like, they didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
I just, like, that gave me such, like, that elevated the movie to a way higher standard than, like, I think that's when it kicked off for me. I was like, oh, man, I'm back in this thing. This is so good. So I really enjoyed the return of Yoda. I will say that one thing that kind of, like, just threw me off, there's a lot of stylistic things that happen in this movie that I'm just like, this is kind of trippy and weird. There's one where she's down and it's her reflection and she does the snap thing and you're about to discover who her parents is and then it's just her again and it's over. And I'm like, that was cool looking, but a little needless to me. I felt like there was she didn't learn anything from it. And I felt like there wasn't very much therapy for her from it. And that was just kind of a weird sequence to me.
Yeah, and it's kind of strange how, like, there was all this intrigue and questions after watching Force Awakens, like, who is Snoke? Who are Rey's parents? And they didn't really deliver. Like, they had drum up the intrigue with the first movie, and they didn't pay off with this one, just like, Snoke, it doesn't matter, he gets cut in half.
Yeah, he's a throne villain.
And then, like, when Rey admits that she deep down knows who her parents are, it's like, oh, they're nobody.
Yeah.
Who cares?
And, like, there was a lot of moments that you build up and you build up. We've been waiting 2 years after she hands him that lightsaber, and he's just like, which was funny, but I was like, oh.
Yeah, that is something also that I kind of have a minor complaint about this movie. It's overuse of bathos. Now, for those of you who don't know what the term bathos is, that's like when you have a moment that, like the hero shot in any movie, where it's like build up to this big emotional moment and then you undercut all of it with a joke.
Yeah.
Like it's...
The music cuts.
Right. It's like, Joss Whedon likes to use it a lot. And he uses it effectively. Yeah. Whereas this one, it's like they kind of take this heavy emotional moment and they undercut it with comedy. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way in a few spots, but when it was used well, it was very funny and effective. But that's one of those times where it's just like, when Luke's holding this lightsaber, he's just like, whatever. I was like...
We've been waiting 2 years for that damn lightsaber.
Like, I get the joke, but I would have preferred the emotional moment.
Yeah, and it is appropriate to the way his character, starts unfolding in the movie, is that he doesn't want this. He doesn't want the Jedi. Yeah. He's like, no, I'm done with it. It means nothing to me. So I get it, but yeah, it was a little, just a little sudden, a little abrupt for me. Also, one thing that I can't really decide if I liked or not was... Kylo Ren and Rey's connection together, the way they spoke, this weird, like, talking to each other in different settings, never actually being next to each other, and just sort of like, I don't know, I didn't buy it very much. I started to after the conversations got a little bit deeper, but I sort of, at first I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah, and
like,
then...
he can see her, she can see him, but we can't see them see each other? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and then when you find out, like, Snoke was the one facilitating all of it.
Yeah.
That also just raised questions, like, how powerful is he? Well, I don't think we'll ever know.
We'll never know, yeah. So, I don't know. I wish they could have just... I like
the conversations that they had when they were doing it.
Yeah.
But I thought the execution of it was just a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was just, like, to go into, like, major details, like, a moment where Kylo Ren's topless. Like, this is weird. He's just a weird-looking dude in general. Not to see him with his shirt off? Like, did they just want to show that he beefed up for the movie?
Right. But speaking of Kylo Ren, I would say, like, he has just as much of an arc as Rey does. Actually, they're kind of, inverted with one another. You know, he's dark side struggling with the light, and Rey's light side, she's kind of struggling with the dark. But what do you think specifically with Kylo Ren? What do you think about the journey they took him through with this movie?
Yeah, I mentioned it in the spoiler-free one, but I couldn't get into it. But, like, I really like what they're doing with Kylo Ren. Again, I think that he is a very broken, torn, confused character, and I like that they go that route with it. I wasn't crazy about the fact that he destroyed his mask. I like the mask. I thought it kind of adds more intimidation to him. I like what it does to his voice, but I get why he did it. It's like they called a lot of things out in this, such as why he lost the lightsaber battle with Rey in the first one, or why he wears a mask when you don't need to. You're just a child with a mask on. And I like that he called him out on his childish nature. So I liked what they did with Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I think that, and destroying that mask was kind of symbolic in the fact that, like, in the first movie, it was clear he just wants to be Darth Vader. He wants to be the most powerful Jedi, or the most powerful Force user, and, rule the galaxy. But with this one, I feel like destroying that mask was kind of him being like, no, I'm going to be my own kind of evil.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the guy who obeys my master. I'm going to kill my master, and then I'm going to become the master type thing. So I feel like, yes, I really did like the mask, especially what I did with his voice, but I think that symbolism with destroying it was very effective.
Yeah, and I thought it was almost kind of symbolism of just like sort of telling the audience to be like, all right, Vader's out. Like, he has this presence in The Force Awakens a little bit of him still wanting to be Vader, but I think this sort of put like the Vader idea just to be like, we're probably not going to hear about Vader anymore.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, I suppose.
Right. But what do you think about what they did with Rey? Like, it's kind of weird. I was really expecting there to be like similar to when Luke was on Dagobah. Luke would train Rey the way Yoda trained Luke.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that. She's kind of self-trained. It's kind of weird what they're doing with her becoming full-fledged Jedi.
Once again was my beef on that where I'm like, man, I wanted like Luke to train the audience, not just Rey. Like, I want to see more training. I wanted to have more. Like, I didn't feel like she got enough out of that to be a more powerful Jedi. Like, he gave her like a lesson or two, but that's about it. And that's why it disappointed me a little bit. Most of that time spent on the island seemed like her just following him around. Him just walking away from her constantly, and her just being like, "Wait up!" Like,
yeah, but I think that it was serviceable in the plot with Luke, how he didn't want to make any more Jedi.
This was a darker movie for sure in comparison to The Force Awakens. I felt like Force Awakens was the point of being like light. There is hope. The Force is prevalent, but in this does sort of fall into a darker territory. It is a smaller story as well, and they're constantly being chased, basically. They're like constantly under attack and constantly being chased in low fuel. Right. It's like kind of the plot facilitating all the little details that are happening in between.
Yeah. It was a survivor's tale with Finn and Poe.
Right. Yeah, like imagine like two pirate ships in the water, like constantly just within arm's reach of each other type of thing. And they go to different locations and places, and for the most part, I would say like 80% of the locations they went to, I really enjoyed. I like the island. I like the salt red planet. Yeah. I disliked the casino. I didn't like that horse race, weird, like... I mean, I get that it developed Rose's character a little bit more, but like the casino, I didn't really. They didn't spend a lot of time there, so I was okay with that. But I didn't really. It felt too earthbound. It felt too human.
Yeah, to our galaxy.
Not alien enough.
Far, far away.
Far away. Yeah, right. I was like, this seems like they're playing all human games and like slot machines and craps, and I'm like, I don't think that this is like it didn't fit.
Yeah, I mean, especially when like in the original trilogy, with Mos Eisley in the cantina, you got the feel that that was the scum and villainy of the universe hanging out there. And they're trying to replicate that here, but kind of aimed more towards like greedy people and just like, what their greed creates and how it affects the people around them. And I agree with you. It wasn't my favorite part of the movie. I can't say it really bothered me too much, but I think part of it, the reason why it didn't bother me is because we didn't spend a lot of time there.
Yeah, I think that was a really strong decision maybe it was a good way for us to like, you spend a lot of time on this ship and a lot of time of them figuring out how they're going to get out of the grasp of this other ship that's chasing them. So maybe it was just a reason for them to be like, we got to go find this guy. Let's go somewhere more fun and a little bit more lively.
Yeah, and kind of change things up and, really keep the story going. But I really like what they did with Finn. In the first one, he is struggling with, he knows he wants to get away from the First Order.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know if he really wants to be part of the Resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And with this one, once again, he's like, doesn't really know if he wants to be part of the Resistance, but the one thing he knows that he wants to do is help and save Rey. Right. And reunite with Rey.
Yeah.
So I like that they kept his character evolving. It wasn't just the same, like, conflicted internal conflict of a soldier kind of thing. Like, am I fighting for the right side?
Yeah.
It's, now that I'm on the right side, why am I here? What am I fighting for? And I like what they did with that.
I do too. And I think that it did give him a purpose where like Rey was his purpose. And almost like, did you sort of feel a hint of jealousy from Rey when he was sort of over by Rose? Kind of, she was sort of like, what's going on over there? Like, I don't know if this is going to be like a love triangle type of thing.
It might be.
And like, I almost felt like a little bit of a eye contact thing with Poe and Rey. So
yeah.
like, now is this going to be like this weird, like everyone's like,
there's that part where they like introduce each other to, and I was like, oh my god, they haven't met this entire time.
Yeah,
like there wasn't even a little celebration at the end of Force Awakens before she took off. Or it's like
they went straight to the island.
Yeah. So, but speaking of Poe, I really like what they did with him too. Like he wanted to step up and be the hero and be the one to save the day, and he was the one who learned. He learned the lesson of like maybe it's best to survive. Yeah. Maybe it's not about being the hero and saving the day. Maybe it's just living to fight for another day.
Yeah, and he learned to see things from like a different perspective and like more, constructive thinking when it comes to it. Like he has such a blind side of like how he viewed what's her name? Laura Dern's character. He was just like, I know what you're doing and this is bullshit, but he had no idea because he was so like, we have to take action. So
he was very single-minded, and then he kind of opened himself up to perspective.
Yeah, and I like that they took that route with it too. Once again, I think all the choices they made with the characters, for the most part, was the right way to go with them, and still leaving you wanting more for all of their journeys. All three of the main protagonists, I really want to see what they're going to do with it.
Yeah, and they're kind of doing this thing now where it's like, Han Solo dies in this one, or in certain Force Awakens. Luke's gone in this one. It's like, you get the feeling that, I don't know how the hell they're going to get Leia into the next movie anyway, but she's going to be gone with this one. They're kind of handing off, they're using the old characters to like hand off the story to the new characters, and I think that they're continuing to do that well. Whereas like Leia, she has a bigger role in this movie than she did in Force Awakens.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she wasn't the forefront. She wasn't one of the main protagonists.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised they didn't pull like sort of what they did with Paul Walker in the Fast and the Furious series, like sort of like send her off, not kill her off, send her off, remove her from the story in a respectful and like a respectful way in a way that makes sense. But instead, she's still in this thing, like she's with the group, and like you said, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do for Episode 9. I mean, they said that she was very much part of the plot, and I mean, I get it with retro aging, and they basically brought Peter Cushing back to life in Rogue One, so who knows what they're going to be able to do.
What'd you think of her, like, space survival thing?
That was a little weird.
Yeah, I think that
because I thought that would have been the way to, like, send her
off.
Yeah, to kill her, and, like, when she gets blown out of the bridge of that ship, like, my heart was like, no way.
I know.
No way, Leia's dead, and then, she, like, I just don't get how she was alive and conscious enough to get back inside the ship. I mean, I think she's like in a coma.
She has like the Force, a little bit.
No, I get it that she's a Force user and maybe she can survive in space.
I think that this was a way for them to write, because I think that they probably shot the beginning and the end, and then during the middle, that's when she passed away. So they put her in a coma. They had more for her to do in the middle, but they put her in a coma for a good chunk. So
that might be it.
So they're like, we have to write around this thing. Like, she's in it at the end. We can't just reshoot all the endings. So let's put her in a coma and then she can come back.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can think.
And who knows? Maybe they did shoot the second act stuff, and that's what they're going to use in the next movie.
Yeah, maybe that's true as well. I mean, I'm curious to see what they do with Leia. I like that Leia's in all this.
I thought she did a great job, and I just I really liked that brief moment that she had with Luke.
Yeah.
The two of them together. That was, once again, that's just like that nostalgia overwhelming where it's like, oh, they're back together again. It just made me feel all good inside.
Even though they weren't really, but they were like...
But in the moment.
No, yeah, I know.
So, but I was wondering, like, how the hell did he get in there?
Yeah. And it was like, also like, all the lasers and everything. I was like, oh, he's got the Force, he does
whatever.
I thought they were all going to like, stop. Like, sort of like Kylo Ren does in Force Awakens, where it's like, I thought he was going to stop them all, and I would have been like, yeah, but turns out he's a ghost. Buffs. So that's our spoiler review. If you want to check out our full review, non-spoiler, and our scores, you can check out the review below. Also, thanks for watching. Leave all your comments below on spoilers all you want. We can have a little discussion. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We appreciate all the support.
Yeah, and stick with us in 2018. We're going to be bringing you all new reviews. Got a whole bunch of crap of movies that some of them are excited for, some of them are not really looking forward to.
Nope.
But before we get into all that, we'll definitely have a 2017 wrap-up where we talk about the best and the worst of the year and what we're looking forward to in 2018.
Yeah.
So check for that soon, but until then, don't forget.
There's no place like the theater.